is the showcase frame like reminiscent of like what the kind of artwork you see in D&D?
Yep. Yeah,
Exactly
that's a huge call to first edition art.
Oh, okay.
Cool. And I'll talk about that too. All right, so let's start this thing off in 3, 2. Hello and welcome to Eternal Durdles. I'm your host Zach Clark, and with me as always, Phil Bleckman. Phil, how's it going?
Yo, I'm Phil of the Dusk Rose now.
I like your background, man.
I'm the only good thing to come out of Ixalan.
Phil upgraded his setup. He now has a green screen, so any magic card you want, he can go anywhere. I have some choice options as well, but I like what Phil's doing there. I think I can go to like Mystery Science Theater 3000 and stuff like that, but nothing super crazy that I can find off the top of my head right this instant. I think everything else is on my old computer.
Just a quick check for all of our homies out there that were like, "Yo, fix your sound, Phil, you heathen." How am I sounding? Do I sound sultry?
I think you sound good. Hopefully,
nice.
I also sound good. If not, I'm sure you can fix that in post. So
yeah, we're gonna post fix that, dude. We got some hot little spoilers going on today.
I am so excited, man. The D&D. I didn't expect the D&D set stuff to drop today. I was expecting more Modern Horizons 2.
Dude, I can't figure out the spoiler schedule anymore because I too was really hyped today, thinking we were going to get Modern Horizons spoilers. Yeah. I was like, what other cards can they give just whatever names to and then turn them into creatures?
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely talk about MARO's blog a little bit as well and make our guesses about some of that stuff. But I think the first thing we should do, let's talk about these spoilers. And I think the first spoiler we should talk about is my boy Drizzt Duelist-style.
Dude, this card is... I'll let you read the card.
Yeah. So Drizzt-style is a 5 mana that is 3 colorless, 1 green, 1 white, legendary creature, elf rogue. He is a 3/3 with double strike.
Ranger.
Elf ranger. Sorry, that's huge.
I assume ranger is a new creature type, right?
Ranger is a new creature type. That is a sort of a cleric in D&D. That's sort of a cleric and a warrior situation. You're like nature oriented, sort of like a druid, but you're more warrior based. And it's in the warrior class. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but. So Drizzt-style is an elf ranger. He has double strike, and whenever Drizzt-style enters the battlefield, create a Guinevere legendary 4/1 green cat creature token with trample. I knew one thing I wanted to say here is I was gonna make you read Guinevere.
Trying to make me read Guinevere?
Yeah, it's just a weird bunch of consonants and vowels to read. I figured I should have had you read this whole card.
I feel like the go-to to pronounce this would be Guinevere, because how else are you supposed to somehow pronounce NHW in a row, right?
Yeah.
You don't.
All right, and also whenever a creature dies, if it had power greater than Drizzt's power, put a number of +1/+1 counters on Drizzt equal to the difference. So there we go. It's a 5 mana 3/3 double strike.
So it's 5 mana that produces 7 power and 4 toughness worth of creatures, but it pumps out 10 damage.
10 damage, yeah.
If it connects. I think the thing that's good about this is, or this card in particular is, I get that a 5 mana Selesnya card is usually not going to, make the ranks of a legacy playable card. But this one is like, if you're grinding in any type of way, this is actually one that, between being in I was saying essentially this is like a dream card for Nate's style of Maverick deck that wants to be able to abuse both Cradle and just get value off of your Knight of the Reliquaries being able to fetch up Caracas and then do just crazy shenanigans. So the fact that it ETBs and gives you a ton of value, plus it's a threat on its own right, plus you can protect it with things like cards that you would already want to be playing anyway. So I feel like it's, for that type of deck, where normally like a Sigarda or something would fill that role. I get that this is a while ago in terms of like what a Maverick deck would look like, but it seems like it's aggressively costed for 5 mana, even though 5 mana should outright win you the game anyway.
Yeah. So here's the crazy thing about this. So there's so much flavor on this card. Like full stop. I've read most of the early Drizzt novels by R.A. Salvatore, and WotC just had a like 45-minute video where they had somebody interviewing him talking about a new video game that's coming out with the companions, which is Drizzt, Caddy Bree, Bruenor Battlehammer, and Wolfgar. We'll explain. I don't need to explain all that right now, which is neat, just a cool thing. But then on top of that, they showed a quick short that kind of goes over Drizzt's history, read by Benedict Cumberbatch, which is super cool. They're really going all out with this D&D Magic crossover, which to me is like super cool. Like it is the Magic the Gathering set that I have been waiting at least 26 years to happen.
Quick pause. My Audacity has shit out and stopped.
Oh, no worries. I have sound on my on my video, so we're good.
Cool. If you're recording from there, then I'll take the audio at least for my half from that front part, and then I'm gonna restarting my Audacity right now so we can get that. Perfect.
All right. So anyhow, so with Drizzt, one of the awesome things about this card is the last line of text. The whenever a creature dies, if it had power greater than Drizzt power, add +1/+1 counters to the difference. That's D&D. That he's leveling up. Like that's Drizzt killing a dragon and then gaining experience, and that's showing itself on a Magic card, which to me is so cool.
See, I've never played D&D, so but I know the leveling up process.
I mean, you played an RPG at some point. You had to play like Final Fantasy or something like that, right? Like
totally. So yeah, I that's interesting that's how they did the top-down flavor design of that. That's cool.
Yeah, and so what's also cool about that is Drizzt is a dark elf. Dark elves are known as drow, and they live underground. So they have a darker tone of skin. Now it's like a greenish gray. It used to be they were like, they were dark colored elves. So and drow elves are evil in D&D by and large. Drizzt is a good guy, which is why you get a Selesnya type here. He's obviously an elvish ranger. Most drow are rogues, wizards, and clerics. That said, let's talk about Lolth, the Spider Queen. So let's first off, she's a planeswalker. Let me just write down that number. Okay, so Lolth, the Spider Queen, is another 5-mana card, 3 colorless and 2 black. She is a legendary planeswalker, Lolth. Whenever a creature you control dies, put a loyalty counter on Lolth, the Spider Queen. So you get bonuses for having your guys die. And then she's got a 0, draw a card, and lose a life. Her -3 is create 2/2/1 black spider creature tokens with menace and reach. And then her -8, she's an arachnid, so she has a -8. So you get an emblem that says whenever a opponent is dealt combat damage by one or more creatures you control, if that player lost life less than 8, then they lose life equal to the difference. So basically, every time your opponent gets hit for combat damage by a creature in an instance, they lose 8 life instead of the 2 or whatever.
It more or less just means that whenever a creature hits your opponent, it deals them 8.
What about if you're attacking with Drizzt and he's got double strike though?
Well, no, because it says if that player lost less than 8 life this turn.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Anyhow, let's talk about who Lolth is real fast, and then we'll also talk about why this card's got so much flavor. So Lolth is the dark god of the drow. She is basically like this conniving, evil god character that when the races of drow split, she lied to her people and basically told all the drow that all the good elves, all the light skinned elves that live on the top of on like the surface, betrayed them, and then they had to go underground. So it's an entire society based on lies and like political intrigue and
America.
Everything is based on showing your fealty to the Spider Queen, which is where you get this neat, like, whenever a creature you control dies, put a loyalty counter on Lolth. So sacrifices to Lolth, the Spider Queen, makes her stronger, right? Which is cool. One thing that I think is a neat like, it's kind of a line from Drizzt to Lolth, because he grew up in that society and rejected it and left. Is that both of them have this thing where they get stronger when something dies, which is kind of like a neat little like line to draw through. Like Drizzt is a drow elf. Yes, he's attacking, and it's whenever any creature dies for him. So it could be your creature too, which is like kind of plays into that sacrifice appeal in colors that generally don't deal with that at all. I just think that's a neat little through line that shows you, like, yeah, Drizzt does have the those inherent like that inherent evilness that exists in drow elves, but he's rejected it. But aside from that, I think that another really cool part of this card is the concept of, like, she's a spider, so that she's got a -8, the 8 damage. You know, I don't always love that stuff, but I think it's cool here because they added it in, and it's not something like Lolth, the Spider Queen, is known for her love of the number 8 or anything. It's just like a cool little thing. I don't know. What do you think of this card as being a legacy card?
So it's the one downside is that 5 mana.
5's a lot.
5's a lot, and it's like if you're going to be a 5 mana walker, I feel like one, you have to be in a deck that is specifically not looking at Teferi Hero of Dominaria, right? Yeah. If you're in the market for a 5 mana walker, or if you're Grixis, you're playing Nicol Bolas Dragon God, and it just pumps out more value and does more things. This one, it doesn't deal with anything on the board other than potentially stabilizing against smaller creatures. But to do so comes at a big loyalty cost, right? Yeah. So if you're doing this, I imagine that it has something to do with getting the loyalty up to such a degree, like building an engine to get the loyalty to constantly go up. So you can just make 2/2/1s every turn. But even then, I don't think that that's necessarily good enough at 5 mana. So I think this is priced out of Legacy, even though it's in the ritual color. It would be super sweet to see a deck like, a zombie deck that tries to abuse culling the weak, right?
Right, yeah, sick. Or something like that. Or like, the thing is like, once you get this out, if you can ultimate it immediately with like Goblin Bombardment and like, 4 creatures, something like that, so that like now every creature that you have is basically an 8/8.
Yeah, I feel like you need to have like a really wide board for something like that. And also what you the pattern that you just proposed in terms of gameplay would mean you are spending 5 mana to sacrifice your Planeswalker and most of your board. Or I would assume is most of your board.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy unless there's some kind of engine where it's recursion, but it's recursion with no payoff. Yeah. So if you have some kind of sack outlet and way to like just sack infinitely, I don't know what that would look like. But if you have
what about like Sedgemoor Witch? So you have those guys to sacrifice. Something like, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's a good answer. I honestly don't think there's a good answer for this. I don't think it's legacy playable. But like, that's the Sedgemoor Witch seems like a card that like could go along with this, and it has that like warlock flavor. Like evil warlock.
Yeah, at the very least, I would say I think this. If you were looking for a top end Planeswalker. That's not 6 mana, because then you're looking at things like the Big Lilianas, right?
Yeah.
But if you're in 5 mana, even if it's not Legacy, I think this does have some compatibility to that original 5 mana Obnixilis that was sort of the template for what Walkers used to be, of like draw a card, kill a thing, win the game. This is similar to that in my eyes, but I think those abilities are better.
Yeah.
So I get that that's not saying too much because Obnixilis is unplayable, but There you go. I don't think this is a legacy card.
Okay, fair enough. I agree.
I think Drizzt could be a legacy card at 5 mana.
I think I think Drizzt has legs and it's possible. I don't think you're gonna just slot it into Delver. But I think it's there. Like, I mean, Nate did relatively well not too long ago, a while ago with like a Bant style like Stoneblade deck, right?
If anybody is making Drizzt good in Legacy, am I pronouncing it right? Drizzt? Do I pronounce the
Drizzt? Like
Drizzt, like an
Drizzt.
S.
Yeah, like,
yeah, no Z's, Drizzt.
Like that, yeah. Drizzt.
I'll be honest, when I first saw this card spoiled and I don't know D&D, I immediately thought of Visidrix, and I was like, wait a minute, this isn't a weird rabbit-looking monster that costs 7.
A great story about my wife when we first started dating. There's a board game called The Legend of Drizzt, and so she was not a Magic person, not a D&D person, but this was right after Return to Ravnica came out, right? And we were, like sitting around my apartment, and she goes, maybe we should play like a board game or something. I'm like, well, what board game do you want to play? And she points up to my Legend of Drizzt game, and she goes, what about Legend of Dr. Izzet?
Nice.
Which I was like, oh my God, that is amazing.
Also, why haven't we gotten a Dr. Izzet yet?
Right? Dr. Izzet, right? Dr. Izzet, Duwarden.
Yo, when Niv Mizzet is teaching at Strixhaven.
Yeah, of course. He's like Dr. Izzet. That's great. So next we have the King of Mithril Hall, Bruenor Battlehammer. He is a 4-mana 5/3. That is 2 red and a white. Sorry, legendary dwarf warrior. Each creature you control gets +2/+0 for each equipment attached to it, and you may pay 0 rather than pay the equip cost of the first equip ability you activate each turn.
I love that dwarves in Vorthos across all games or all stories always have last names that are just whatever they do.
Yeah,
or like something about them. This is Battlehammer. Some other time you're gonna have like Lachlan beard braids.
Yeah, of course.
It's just like whatever. Like it's just their name and then something objective about them.
I mean, let me look real fast. But the Dragonlance dwarf, which is probably the second most known dwarf. Let's see. What's the Dragonlance's dwarf name? Of course, it's not going to.
Yeah, it's like Gary Horse Jouster.
Yeah, exactly. It's always Dungeon Dragon dwarf.
Okay, well, you're looking that up. I'm going to talk quickly about this card. It's not playable, right? Obviously,
no.
It's nice that if it is playable, it's because there's an insane equipment that you want to equip to a creature, and you're willing to pay 4 instead of whatever the equip cost is, right? So you pay 4 and then you get that free equip. But other than that, you're not getting anywhere with this guy.
Dragonlance is Flint Fireforge.
Fireforge, yeah. It's just like, so what do you do? Look at my name.
Yeah, man.
My name is my occupation.
I host the show Forged in Fire.
Didn't you know?
Great show, by the way. If you haven't watched Forged in Fire on Netflix, it's just a show where like they get guys to like make weapons out of like tin cans and stuff, and like they're like, hey, take apart this pinball machine and make like a army knife out of it, and then at the end of each show, the 2 guys that are left after the elimination round, they have to make like a legit like weapon from ancient history. So like it'll be like, make a Greek kopis, and then you get like a week to like go home to your like home forge and do that. Awesome show. Anyhow, let's get back to Bruenor Battlehammer. No, nothing.
I can keep talking about how this guy isn't playable, but we're in the worst color combination. We're at a price tag that is way too steep for no ETB ability. I get that the ETB ability, I guess you could argue there is if you equip something immediately, but that also means that you put in equipment into play first.
What's the best equipment you can think of to play that having a 0 cost is good? It's Colossus Hammer, right? Like the thing that gives a creature like +9/+9 or something.
Yeah, but if all you
That's
wanted
the
to do
only
is equip
thing-
your Colossus Hammer, there's a 1-mana instant that does that.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I 100% agree. So the only thing I can think of is like that. I mean, cool if you're playing like a Stoneforge Mystic deck and someone bounces your Germ token. Cool, you can equip it to this guy, and then you have what an 11/7 lifelinker. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you have a Batter Skull on the table, you should probably be in a reasonable position anyway.
We'd like you to be winning.
I get that this is total win more. I mean, one thing that to be said is there is, I feel like, space at a certain point once you have a high enough dwarf density between Magda and Depala, which I believe are both reasonable creatures for what they do, right? Magda is a card that can just ramp your mana, and Depala is just a mana sink that can draw you cards. So having a card that makes mana and a card that draws cards are historically obviously very good together if the payoff is there or the structure around them is good enough to pay them off. And if we just get a bunch of dwarves in the Dungeons and Dragons set, it's possible that we could get an Aether Vial style dwarf deck that can...
Oh man, Dwarf Tribal. That would make me so happy if we could like go back to Fallen Empires and like make Dwarf Tribal work.
Essentially, like you have Dwarven Recruiter, right? So you can just stack your deck. Like that exists in Legacy. So if there's any type of conspicuous Snoop style dwarf that they print and something that would allow Magda to make infinite mana, you could cast your deck. Right? Yeah. Something that has an ability that lets her untap, and then she can just tap for something.
Side note, as a kid, the whole like so we're going the name of the set is Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, right? As a kid, when I first started playing Magic, I started playing in Fallen Empires, and Fallen Empires and Forgotten Realms are so similar in name that like I would often just screw up and say the two of them all the time. But they
Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, Fallen
like Forgotten Realms and Fallen Empires. There's not a ton of difference in those concepts, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So
Adventures in the Forgotten Fallen Empire Realms.
So those are the cards from the latest spoiler. What I do want to talk about as well is MARO dropped that like Duelist-style spoiler thing, and I want to bring that up and talk about each of the spoiler things that he dropped there.
Yeah, mind putting that just for expediency, giving me that link here. I remember seeing it, and he subbed all of the mechanics with X's, and then just gave you the word count to try and figure it out.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I can't
figure it out.
I'm not even gonna try on that stuff. But
dude, I just immediately looked to all of the how many mechanics with the letters with 7 letters in them, because I am holding out for a Miracle Ancestral Recall. Give it to me. Give it to me, cowards.
Effing way. No effing way.
Dude, what if it's like an 8-mana sorcery speed ancestral, and then it's Miracle for 1? Right? It's unplayable. It's uncastable. Terminus in a late game against decks that would get there, it's castable at 6. I have cast many a Terminus for 6. You're never casting an ancestral for 8.
Yeah, no,
you're never doing that. So it is a dead draw.
Not unless that it's free if you exile 7 cards from your library.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not asking for a Miracle Treasure Cruise. I'm asking for. I mean, I guess they're the same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
what if there was a Miracle with Delve? Whoa, how would that even work? If it has Delve, and then the Miracle cost is something that doesn't have a lot of colors. So it's like the Miracle is color intensive, or the actual spell, but then the Miracle alternate cost is just colorless mana. And so you can cast it for free. Ooh, yeah.
It could be good.
Ooh, yeah. I would be very helpful in design meetings for WotC. I'd be like, well, we all know whoever printed Allosaurus Shepherd had an agenda. So I'm here to balance the scale.
So to give you an idea about what we're talking about when we say Duelist-style teasers, back in the day, MARO used to put these teasers up in the magazine Duelist. which I have several copies of right here. And one of the cool things that they would do is like they would like spoiler stuff. Like I particularly I remember the Mirage one. The Mirage one was like there's gonna be a card that produces 3 mana of any one color for 0 mana. There'll be a 1 mana 12/12, you know, stuff like that. You know, and we, you know, those cards exist now. So up here we have a legendary creature best known for having his name on a powerful card that's been banned. Finally gets a legendary creature type. Or
so
sorry,
he doesn't say what format it was banned in.
Yeah.
It says that it was banned. So what are legendary what legendary cards have been banned? Or I'm sorry,
a legendary character best known for having his name on a powerful card that's been banned finally gets a legendary creature.
Come on, Sensei.
Sensei is a possibility, right? Sensei is a possibility.
Give me Sensei.
You know, so minus the being banned because I don't know, I can't think of anything. Like, did they ban Mishra's Helix? I'm thinking Mishra, right? Like,
what has Mishra had that's been banned? I mean, honestly, my auto response, was Bobble ever banned?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, my auto response to seeing this was like, there must be a legendary character named Mox that we don't know about. Are you okay? Are you gonna survive?
Yeah, I'm all right.
When I'm riffing about my immediate thoughts that come to mind when I see things that MARO posts, you shouldn't take a sip of anything.
No.
Speaking of legendary characters that people want to see a reprint of, did you see? Shout out to Eli who shared a tweet of somebody who apparently I sent it to you guys in the chat because I thought it was so funny. Somebody like spammed MARO.
Yes.
So somebody's. I'm gonna find this because it was so good.
The slow bad.
Yeah, the whole slow bad debacle, which was fantastic. I am pulling it up. Bear with me for 1 second. Here we go. This is what was said by AKA. Oh, this was by Spice 8 Rack who shared this one. Somebody messaged him and said, if this gets 20 likes, can you make slow bad the Planeswalker card you teased in your Modern Horizons 2 blog post? The blog post being the one we're reading. MARO said, not only is this an absurdly low number of likes, but the cards had been planned and printed many months ago. Obviously, that's how time works. But also the fact that the first thing that MARO noticed was the volume of likes that the person said they could get. 20 is not nothing. Come on,
yeah, man.
Stop beating up the little guy. So the response was, okay, 100 likes. I'll send you a $5 to sweeten the deal. What's your Cash App? Right?
Yeah, easy. Cash App. Get that Cash App.
100 likes, a quick little tit. Give us the skinny, MARO. And then MARO says, legal has just informed me that since yesterday, you sent us over 200 emails containing nothing but a 1 terabyte picture of crude, slow bad fan art with the subject line, quote, free him. Please do not contact me any further.
Dude, if 1 terabyte, that's so much.
If this so if that whole story, that
true.
4 lines of dialogue isn't the chef's kiss piece de resistance going into Modern Horizons 2, I don't know what is.
All right. So continuing though, so I'm going to hedge my bets, not know the band card, and say that it's Mishra. But I'm not positive. Legendary creature. No, we want a Planeswalker. Get out of here with that.
Yeah, I mean, Mishra has had a legendary creature. So
Mishra has a legendary creature. I want a Planeswalker for Mishra. So
totally. Yeah, I mean, it does make sense to eventually get Mishra back, and it's a reasonable guess considering Urza was in the first Modern Horizons.
Right.
It would make sense to be like, okay, he's going to come back in Modern. Yeah, so I get it. This one is beyond me. I can't.
Let's go with Sensei. I like Sensei as the answer.
I've just been like of all the things, right? Like you're making Magnuses of literally everything. Give me Sensei.
All right, a theme only a handful of cards in Modern Horizons. A theme on only a handful of cards in Modern Horizons gets a larger presence.
So from the first Modern Horizons.
Yeah. I can't think of a theme that was only on a small portion of cards off the top of my head. for Modern
Yes.
Horizons?
Snow was in a large portion.
Snow, more slivers.
Is
There's
it?
a small portion of slivers.
There were small portions of slivers. I guess we could get more slivers.
All right. So then a frog, 26 years in the making. Dude, are we gonna get a Chub Toad legend? Are toads frogs?
Is it 26 years in the making, or was it like the idea originated 26 years ago and then was brought up again for the first time, and they were like, okay, yeah, let's do it. That's not 26.
I'm calling.
It would be 26 years in the making.
I'm calling Chub Toad, man.
I'll believe Chub Toad.
New split cards, cool. A future sight mechanic reused for the first time. Can we look up future sight mechanics?
There's a lot of future sight mechanics. I think it would be really cool if it were Fate Seal, but I get that they hate that mechanic for obvious reasons.
Yeah, off the top of my head, like, you know what we got here: time shifted, marketing, flavor, store mechanics.
Do you think it's
Absorb, Death Touch, Delve, Fate Seal, Fortify, Frenzy, Grandeur?
Grandeur is a good one. I know that MARO has said that he likes Grandeur.
Gravestorm, Lifelink, Poisonous. Remember Poisonous? Reach, Shroud.
It's possible that they use Poisonous has just been remade to be Infect, right?
It's like Infect, but like it is different because you get a number, Poisonous number. So like a 1/1 could have Poisonous 3, you know?
As opposed to just
only
Infect
you can't pump a poisonous creature and get more poison out of it.
Right. Okay.
Shroud, Aura Swap. Exchange this permanent with an aura in your hand. What? Transfigure. That's the sacrifice a creature.
Transfigure is not off the table. I don't feel like. I feel like it's a thing you have to work for.
Yeah, sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card with the same converted mana cost and put that into play. Then shuffle your library. Play only as a sorcery.
That seems powerful enough.
It seems like also it could be a draft thing too. Like that, I could see that being part of a draft like archetype.
Yeah, like black, red, sacrifice is just transfigure this time. Yeah.
Tribal and cycling are the same. So I'm gonna say it's either transfigure or it's grandeur.
Yeah, I was gonna say that maybe you could also get because as we get further down, there's another tribal card coming to play here in tribal Lurgoyf. So I don't know if they consider it a mechanic, but maybe the whole like counting cards in your graveyard to determine creatures' power toughness could be a thing that just shows up on a bunch of cards.
Okay, here we go. A character that first appeared in a magic novel finally becomes a legendary creature.
So I don't know if they consider it a novel, but the Raven Man?
The Raven Man. Okay, I don't know the Raven Man. Is that like the Muffin Man?
Yeah,
he lives on Drury Lane.
He lives on Drury Lane. Next, he's the Muffin Man's neighbor.
The Raven Man and the Muffin Man are obviously they're always having fence issues.
The Raven Man, he has the ravens who will eat the leftover muffins that the Muffin Man throws out. It's a whole story, but that character is related to, I believe, Liliana's storyline, if I remember correctly. It's from all of Magic Origins, I believe.
Okay.
But I remember the Raven Man was like this really influential character in the online story that they shared during that time. And people were asking, who is this character? Why don't we know more about them? And are we ever going to see them on a card? And
I'm going to go with Tokasia, the mentor character of Urza and Mishra.
Oh, that would be cool too. I mean, I think it would be cool to just get more Brother War stuff to be able to look back at that.
Yeah,
I mean, going back to that story
or even better, like the King of Yosha.
Yeah, give us that stuff, Watson.
Give us that, like that weird stuff, right?
Let us have it.
Give me, like the king that Scheherazade had to tell the stories to.
I want Scheherazade, bro.
Right, but you can't have Scheherazade because it's a sorcery.
No, you can give it. You can have
Scheherazade, teller of tales.
Magus of the Scheherazade. Let's go.
Magus of the Scheherazade.
Can you imagine them trying to template that now in
proper
templating?
Yeah. Oh, good. Oh my
That'd be
God,
great.
they'd never do it.
That'd be great.
All right, a card with the words 4 and 14.
So
I
my
don't know.
guess is it's that it's another like legendary crab that has some abilities that don't really matter, and it's a 4/14.
No, the number words 4 and 14. Those words appear on it. Like I see this as like the card Shapeshifter from like Urza's not Urza's from Antiquities, where it's just like choose a number between like 4 and 14 and the powers and toughnesses like shift on the card. Something stupid like that.
If you control 4 or less creatures, this card sucks. If you control 14 or more creatures, you win the game.
It's like it's an even weirder version of Triskaidekaphobia.
Yeah. It's Triskaidekaphobia.
All right, a fan favorite animal character finally becomes a legendary creature.
Fan favorite animal character.
Giant shark.
Oh, that's actually not bad. Because that is a super fan favorite character. It just does nothing specific about it.
Yeah, it's giant shark as a legendary. Like, we need more shark legends. Come on. A white enchantment that triggers investigate.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the whole debacle of white needing to draw cards in some direct capacity.
I think this is a direct for like white is known to be like the worst color in EDH, and just giving it something like this like slightly pushes it forward a bit.
I think that white having the like equilibrium axis of the color pie, where it's like we're trying to level the playing field, but then also having all of the tax effects, makes sense that if white were to have card draw, it just should be related to like the political characters that like tax.
Wait, can we go back? Legendary character best known for having his name on a powerful card. It's Land Tax Guy.
Oh, you think Land Tax Guy is just going to be like, yo,
Land Tax
all
Guy.
of your white,
cards.
All of your white cards investigate. Dude, you just made me think because we were
talking I'm saying about, that's the legendary creature, man. That's legendary creature known for having. Yeah,
I get what you're saying. I hope his creature type is clown. But you just made me think that one of my favorite cards to like play with, even though it's awful and it's overcosted and it sucks, is Guafa Hazid.
Ooh, what?
You remember Guafa?
Guafa Hazid.
Guafa Hazid was from Alara. It was a 3-mana, 1 blue-white 2/2 that had blue-white, I believe tap, put a bribe counter on target creature. That creature can't attack or block, and its controller draws a card.
Oh, wow.
So the flavor was just like awesome. It's just like somebody who's working the political ranks, right? Love that.
Yeah.
Love that flavor.
Very
Azores. Give me the detective Guafa Hazid that just says, anoint a creature and you investigate. Right? You help. Give me the Sherlock Holmes.
Okay, here we go. A planeswalker from the past that previously has only had a legendary creature card. That's Mishra, right?
That's got to be Mishra.
It's got to be.
Well, wait.
A planeswalker from the past that previously has only had a legendary creature card.
Urza also has never had a planeswalker card if we don't count Silver Border.
But he has. So he does have one.
You would count Silver Border.
Only had a legendary creature card.
Right, but do we
only
okay?
Not like only had a legal legendary, like.
You're right because MARO is so good usually at making sure that he chooses the right words.
All right, and then here are some snippets from rules text that appear in the set. Whenever you cast your third spell each turn.
Yeah, cool.
Never going to see that.
No, we're going to see that. What are you talking about? You can cast 3 spells.
No, I'm saying like in what? Like I'm saying that's whatever that is never going to see play.
Like not legacy play. Arclight Phoenix sees play.
Get out of here.
Arclight Phoenix is a popular card that sees play.
Fine.
It's fringy, but it sees play because you have to like play spells to put it in the yard. If this thing is just like something, if it was when you cast your third spell Ancestral, you best believe people are going to play because you know what you can do? You can go ponder, bolt your thing, draw 3.
Okay.
Get out of here. This is never going to see play. Storm cards have never seen play.
No, that's a whole different thing. If it's draw 3 cards and it's playable in Storm, then they made a design mistake.
Look, you want to know the kind of card that's never going to see play? A card that says for each other ooze you control. That's a card that's never going to see play.
There is that ooze that makes more oozes in one of the Ravnica sets. One of the like return to Ravnica. If
Yeah,
the
that's-
ability of a cuss word or another cuss word you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time.
So they censored the part of the card that, or the part of this ability that would, give you any information about it other than the fact that it's a Panharmonicon. But I am assuming that this is direct and that there is a mechanic called censored.
Okay.
I'm not taking the bait. I think MARO is putting it right in front of us.
It's weird that he wouldn't X that out, right?
A mechanic called censored, and it does something and in this case it's like detain, right? And if you censor one creature, you can censor an additional time.
Ability costs 1 less to activate for each +1/+1 counter on a creatures you control.
I mean, I guess if Affinity needs some help.
Yeah. You may sacrifice a mountain rather than pay this spell's cost. Are they just returning Thunderclap?
There's two paths for this type of card, right? You either get Red Cat Melee, where it's not playable, but it looks like it, and you're going to lose games because of it.
Yeah.
And then there are other things like every busted spell that's ever happened.
Yeah. So there's Thunderclap, which was a fine like creature kill spell for free that you could play. Crash. Let's not forget Fire Blast.
Yeah, Fire Blast. Yeah, it's like anything that says you may do something that isn't paying mana rather than pay this mana cost. It's either not playable or stupid.
What do you think the floor is for a card like this? Do 2 damage?
Playing mountains.
No. I'm saying like what is the lowest amount of a thing that you would get this out and feel like playing it?
The floor, at worst, Lava Dart is playable.
So you think if it had flashback and like if it was sacrifice a mountain, deal 1 point of damage, and it also had sacrifice a mountain for flashback, you would play it?
Dude, if you have free spells, there are so many ways to abuse it.
Yep.
And so if this is any relevant ability, like if this can theoretically exchange with a card in any capacity, it will see fringe play at some point in something.
Okay.
And like dealing 1 damage because there's a ton of creatures with one toughness, like Lava Dart is always there if you're in the market for something like Prowess, right? Where that's a modern mainstay and it's a 4 in that deck, right? There just happens to be better free spells than Lava Dart if you're looking to do something like that, because you have shit like Snuff Out in this format. But yeah, no, if this does anything relevant that could theoretically trade with a card, it will see play. Like Gutshot saw play and it was busted. Like when Gutshot was around, the format was play Birds of Paradise, Augur of Bolas, find my Gutshot your bird, and the game was over.
All right, so next one is Trample over Planeswalkers.
Oh, who gives a shit about this? If I get your Planeswalker off the table, that's
I'm happy. Yeah.
Trample over Planeswalkers best be just like sprinkle text, right? It's like the ability is good, and then it just de facto also has.
Here's my thing: is Trample should already do that.
Yeah, that's similar to the argument that like Death Touch should just kill a Planeswalker.
Yeah.
The reason that they can't do that stuff and recreate those mechanics after the fact is because if every 1/1 Death Toucher also could kill a Planeswalker and you can't choose to not block, the power level of all of those cards that like make incidental Death Touchers would be absurd.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like maybe that's fine because Planeswalkers shouldn't be around.
Yeah.
And I love me some Jason
insect was milled this way.
If an insect was milled this way, so are there any insects in Dredge?
There are, right? Is Icarid an insect?
No, Icarid's a horror. It's a horror.
I don't know.
It's a 4-mana 3/1 horror.
If an insect was milled this way, maybe there will be.
There must be.
Okay. So how about protection from permanents with corruption counters on them?
Hold on. If an insect is milled this way, what does that card have to say for Dredge to be like, all right, well, we're going to play a bunch of whatever.
Guess I'm going to put some deadly insects in this deck.
Whatever the closest to playable insects that I can just mill over when I mill 6.
If an insect was milled this way,
draw a card.
Put a copy of that insect into play.
Dude, if it says if an insect was milled this way, draw a card, theoretically meaning that every time you
That's
flip a
another
dredger,
six,
you
yeah.
could just dredge.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
will then just
You would play.
dredge
You
your
would
whole
put deadly
library.
insects in your deck.
If this is a 1-mana card that says if an insect card is milled this way, this could just mill your deck on turn 2.
Yeah.
So that
All right.
there's some play there. There's some play there.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Zach, okay.
protection from permanents with corruption counters on them.
Corruption. I'm telling you, we're getting some political stuff. I think censored and corruption. It's all coming together.
Choose a number between 1 and 5. Flip that many coins.
All right.
Next. Instead, create one of each. Yeah, we've seen that before.
Instead, create one of each.
You may make a 2/1, a 1/1 with double strike, or a 3/3 with reach. But if you have this, instead make one of each.
Yeah, so this is going to be a bad card that's going to incentivize you to play other bad cards?
Yeah, it's probably like
right.
if you have threshold, right? Something along those lines. It'll be a hoop to jump through.
Yeah, that's fine. The only way that'll pay off is if it does something absolutely busted.
Yeah. Some creature types. We're just going to rifle through these. Assembly Worker, Dinosaur Illusion, Dothy Rogue, Skeleton Shaman, Elemental Incarnation, Clumir, Tribal Artifact Largoyf, Legendary Creature Merfolk God, Legendary Creature Snake Elf Scout, Legendary Creature Squirrel Warrior.
Do you remember like a year and a half ago or something when MARO was like, we can't have squirrels because they're too cute? Like we used to have squirrels and now we don't, and now it's just like in every set.
Yeah, man. Well, I think they figured out that squirrels
People like squirrels.
Squirrels mean money.
Yeah, squirrels do mean money.
Get that
Merfolk God.
Squirrels.
So what do you think? The Merfolk God is going to make the Merfolk deck as we see it now playable again, or no?
I mean, it's already playable with Thassa's Oracle and Paradigm Shift. You've already got a playable deck. That said, if you could get like the deck is just missing
a 1-drop.
It's missing. Yeah, it's missing the ability to go tier 1. It probably won't be a 1-drop, right? You're not going to get a Merfolk God that's a 1-drop. I mean, you don't need 1-drops in the current Merfolk deck. You need Aether Vials and you need Chalice.
If you can get Chalice out of your deck as a Merfolk player, you're happy to do so, right?
I think you're fine doing that, and Curse Catcher is fine, and Mistcaller also fine. They have their roles.
If they give Merfolk their version of Allosaurus Shepherd, I'm flipping my floating desk. It's stuck to the wall, but I will flip it anyway.
Me and Ben Lundquist will be the only 2 people participating in that.
Dude, I am going to play 8 goddamn Terminuses if that happens.
All right, and then finally we have here are some of the mechanics in the set. I replaced the letters with X's, so we've got
cool,
2 at 4. Yeah, this is like how esoteric do you have to be? 2 at 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 that have 7 letters.
18 mechanics with 7 letters in them, and you're gonna sit there and tell me that not one of them is Miracle. You're gonna sit there looking all like happy go lucky in your cap and your glasses and your headphones, and you're gonna tell me not one of them is Miracle. Get out of here, you sir. Get out of here with that.
Sure, one could be Miracle.
It must be Miracle.
Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that have 8 letters in them. By the way, Rampage is a 7-letter word. Yo, you're gonna get Rampage.
So many.
That's gonna suck for you. It's gonna be you're gonna get to the last one. You're gonna be like, all right, the 11th one is it's got to be Miracle. Nope, it's Rampage.
Dude, if the last one's Rampage instead of Miracle, I'm flipping the table.
All right, then we've got 2 at 9, and then we have 1 as 9, but it has a dash in between the. I feel like that's the only one we'll be able to figure out, right?
The one with a dash between that's got to be
the 4th and 5th.
Yeah. No, I see it. There's so for those listening, there's one mechanic with 9 letters in it, but it's 4 letters dash and then 5 letters. So wait, what are the mechanics that have a dash? Well, flashback.
No, it's not flashback.
It's reversed.
That's the other
it could
way
be
around.
backflash.
Backflash.
Yeah.
It's backflash.
Back to the flash.
Backflash. If you have it in your hand,
also
put it in
flash
your graveyard.
Flashback also doesn't have a hyphen. It's one
Gain
word.
4 mana.
Wait, what are the mechanics with hyphens?
I mean,
are there any playable ones with hyphens?
Death Touch.
Death Touch is one word. Lifelink is one word.
Yeah. No, I can't think of any off the top of my head.
All right. Well, we're gonna kick ourselves because there's probably only one.
Yeah. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 9-letter ones. One of those has a dash in it. And then we've got 2 10s, 5 11s, 1 12, and 1 15. What is a 15-letter word?
So a 15-letter word that is a mechanic, right? Because these are returning mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
So how many 15-letter mechanics are there? He's just giving that one away, right?
That's got. I mean, like I feel like a cursory 15-letter word magic mechanic, right?
Yeah,
someone
that's
has to have already figured this out
for sure.
Let's type it in.
There's no way Reddit hasn't already done the work here.
Oh, okay, no. I did not get what I was looking for. All right, Magic the Gathering keywords, a list. Tap on tap. Death.
It could be miracle space miracle comma miracle. So you can miracle twice.
After
I'm gonna cast this for its miracle cost and then cast it for its miracle cost again.
Bands with other Bushido, Changeling, Champion.
Bands
cumulative upkeep.
How many letters is bands with other?
5, 6,
all right,
7,
we're getting into
8,
weeds.
9, 10,
I'm
11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Cumulative upkeep is 16.
Wow, we good thing we avoided cumulative upkeep. If you're doing cumulative upkeep, you can only bring them back if the upkeeps are positive, right? Like the whole point of the card is maintaining the cumulative upkeep of.
So I bet horsemanship is in there.
Cool. Whatever.
Jumpstart is the answer to
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. That's the only one. Yeah.
It's got to be Jumpstart.
I mean that's fair. That's a flashback mechanic.
Let's see here. Yeah, it's backflash.
It's got to be backflash.
Jumpstart is backflash.
Dude, you were close. You guessed the flashback mechanic, and that's exactly what it was, right?
Yep. Split second. Transfigure, transmorph.
Split second is 2 words, right? Not hyphened.
It's 2 words. Yeah, I'm just randomly reading off things that look interesting / could be that big.
It wouldn't fit anyway, but dude, now that we've deciphered that Sensei of the Divining Top is going to be in this set, if we don't get it, it's going to be a heartbreaker.
Yeah, I don't see any 15-letter words. Legendary Landwalk. Yo, wait, is the Legendary Landwalk 15?
That sounds like it could. Yeah, that's it. Legendary Landwalk, right? Because Legendary. Well, no, but he didn't put spaces, but that's okay. Legendary is 7 letters, right? And then Landwalk is 8 letters.
I mean, let's look up a Legendary Landwalk card. Does it have the? We can do that real fast. Legendary
was they also just recently printed a card that has Landwalk, right? Not like a certain kind of land, just Landwalk. So I assume which means it's unblockable.
I mean, that would be sick. Landwalk.
Landwalk is just a fancy way of saying unblockable. 6,
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 17, by the way.
Dude,
17 letters.
The one takeaway from this episode that we can know for sure, though, is that you can count.
Yeah, bands with Landwalk is
bands with Landwalk. Yeah, banding is coming back, right? Banding, flanking,
bands with flankers.
Bands with flanking.
Yeah, my big one is Rampage. I think you're going to see Rampage. So that's all of the spoilers that we have at our hands so far. What announcements do we have? We have so this is episode 198. We've got one more episode, and then we've got our big 200 episode extravaganza. We're gonna have a lot of special guests on, so make sure you come check that out. You might have noticed. You probably are watching. You could very well be watching this on video. We've invested in VHS technology, so we now have video. We're on YouTube. That a lot of that is thanks to our Patreon supporters. If you can help us grow, we'd really appreciate that. We get close to 1,000 people that listen to or watch us every week. And if each of you just gave us $1, right? That means a lot. That would change how Phil and I produce the show. So
also we are putting this stuff over to YouTube, so you can watch the stuff on YouTube. And now that we got this green screen, which is what those dollars do, right? You get a green screen, and then you can suggest the type of video content that you want to see, because anything can go on here. Anything.
Yep.
And like, if I win the invitational, my token or my card would create the creature type clown. So anything could go on the green screen.
Yep. What else? We have a new Patreon tier that gets you all of our gear over the course of a year. So if you're looking to get some sweet Eternal Dirtles gear, that's on the Patreon as well.
Also, what kind of gear do you want? Because I get like everybody.
Well, here's the thing.
T-shirts.
So the gear that you're getting, this is not a negotiation. You're getting
how many people
the gear
want
you're getting.
Eternal Dirtles like overalls?
You're getting a T-shirt, then you're getting a coffee mug.
Hell yeah!
Then you're getting a hoodie.
Oh wow!
And then you're getting a tote.
Jeez,
the tote, dude! The tote is the final prize.
Wear your shirt on a cold day. Wear your hoodie. Grab your tote with your coffee mug.
Hit the farmer's market.
Shop, get that coffee. Get Life's Elixir. Repping the pod.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's and of course you get access to our Discord, where I generally go over our new content every week with our Patreon supporters. So there's a lot to gain from looking us up on Patreon. So
also I am making, Zach doesn't even know that I'm doing this right now. We have to figure out what it's going to be worth, like what the contest is. But you know me, I am a fan of altars, right? I have quite the altar collection. And Young Pyromancer happens to be a popular card, and I happen to have an altered art Pyromancer that we can post that we'll do as a giveaway at some point.
Yeah, awesome.
We'll figure out what that giveaway is, but there you go. There's some value there with the ones there.
Sick. So so to summarize, there's a lot to be gained by supporting us on Patreon, aside from the fact that we will continue to make this content and try and make it better. We've got some really cool ideas coming up. I floated a game show idea just a little while ago, so we're going to try and see if that can work.
For good ideas, what you can expect is what Zach had told me and Nate in our chat earlier today, where he went, "Oh yeah, Drizzt, look at that last ability. Play Drizzt, cast Dreadnought."
Yeah, we'll make Phil play Drizzt Dreadnought.
Yeah, of course. Why would you not? Why would you not hold your Dreadnought until turn 6? Of course.
Yep.
Of course.
All right. Well, I think that's it for us this week. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for watching if you watched, and have a good one.